Oh, I definitely didn't do a countdown. I just switched it right on.
That's right. That's fine. It works.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time, where one of us is tech savvy and one of us is the opposite. But I feel like I'm feeling rather accomplished. I did a lot of tech stuff today that I wanted to talk about later because I feel like you're going to be really proud of me when you hear about all this stuff that I did, where it's actually only one thing, but even that's not even that impressive.
I'll still be proud. It's okay.
Yeah, so I just did, in Mod Pod, lovely little channel. I just uploaded a video, and remember when we were recording and I was like, maybe the link will pop up here? I got the link.
You figured that out?
I
Nice.
did. It didn't pop.
And
I thought it was going to be like a little bubble or something. It was not. It just like a little drop down on the corner. So it's like, oh, it's over next to you, but I don't know. I was
Still
impressed with myself.
And I even saw you had timestamps.
I
as
know.
well.
I did timestamp. I was late releasing it because this is my notes during It Mod Pod where I literally have like the times of everything we talk about, and I lost it. I didn't find it until this morning, and I was like, ugh. I talk too much about timestamps to not have them.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, you can't not deliver.
I
on that
know.
promise there.
And it's like I would say me and Melanie are the two least tech savvy people, and somehow we ended up both being the hosts for this, and we're having to try to do tech stuff, and we're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see what happens.
I just get private messages. Help me.
Something I had on my list to talk about is like I wish you had like a little buzzer or something every time we're in a chat and it's someone's just like, man, I wish Dane was here because I don't know what I'm doing. Because it would just be constant. We never.
Every time you guys do a stream or something,
Anything.
I get a ping.
Anything. We're just like, I don't know. But we're slowly getting better. I mean, I think the one thing is I'm hoping audio is working right now.
Fingers crossed.
Is that...
Oh,
I heard you. I heard everyone.
Alright, I think we're okay.
Excellent. This is the first time I think Tea Time has ever started with audio working. At least when I've been doing it.
Flawless one. It's the first flawless start for you guys. So
And it
I'm
only
so proud.
took us like 6 months to learn how to do it.
But you figured it out. Well,
sure
maybe
did.
you don't even know what you did, but
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty confident about this. I think I know how I did it. We'll know next time when it's not you that's on, and I'm having to do it without you here.
Yeah.
So with the Dion Rising, well, before anything, what are you drinking today?
Well, today I'm just having a little bit of Earl Grey tea. I'm not much of a tea person, but that's all I had in my house. So
No, I
I
get
gotta
that.
steal stuff from work. I'm usually like, if I ever drink tea, it's usually because I'm sick and I want something for my throat. So it's usually like a honey lemon kind of tea,
Yeah.
typically.
Is it like tea leaves that you don't like?
No, just tea in general. I'm not a huge fan of, but like I'll drink it. It's not like what my go-to. It's not what I go to for stuff.
Cause see, I have this delicious. It's called cinnamon or hot cinnamon sunset. This is what I drink almost every day. It smells like, for the alcoholics out there, it smells like Fireball.
Oh.
And that shit's hot. It's like when I first bought it, I thought it was gonna be like Christmas cinnamon where it's sweet. And then I took a sip of it, and it was definitely not. They delivered on hot cinnamon sunsets.
Do you remember that like Big Red gum? Do you remember that? Is that a
I
thing
do.
in America?
Yes, it is.
Like that, or like the cinnamon hearts, right? That like for Valentine's Day. Is that a Canadian thing?
I don't know. I'm not a huge Valentine's person. Mainly because in my family we have two big holidays that we kind of do that not a lot of other people do. So a lot of people do, they'll go out and they'll buy a bunch of candy for Halloween and Valentine's Day. We prefer to celebrate day after those holiday 50% off candy sales. So
we love a candy sale.
We just got whatever was left over because we got double of it.
Yeah, that's Nothing makes the heart larger like discount candy.
No. I mean, I love me some discounts. I'm a thrifty person. I hate spending money, so
You and me both. Which is why we try our best to do a lot of free stuff for this channel.
yes. All of my like picture editing, it's just like pixlr.com because it's free.
Yep.
And yeah, that's like it. Pixlr,
I
if you want
got
to sponsor
3
us, come
images. I got 3 images.
3 a day. Let's not mess it up and then realize we messed it up after saving it.
Do you want a cheap person hack for that specific website?
What, make multiple accounts?
Just use a different browser. And it's a different 3. So if you use like Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome and then Firefox or something like that, you'll get 3 fresh ones every time.
That gives us 9 pictures to save. Listen, if you're out there and you're trying to like edit pictures on the cheap, on the low cheap, Pixlr's great. I use it for everything.
I've been using that for a long time.
That's how I edited your name into this overlay, because right now Melanie is the owner of pretty much all of the Tea Time overlays, and she has kept that under lock and key. Not because I think she just forgot, but so I was like, okay, I have to get rid of Robin's name, somehow get Dane, because I feel like every time I do Tea Time, I just leave Robin's name up there and we make a joke out of it, but I'm like, no, it's the last one. I have to show I'm tech savvy.
We need to be professional here and have appropriate overlays and whatnot.
Yes. So I took to it. But yeah, I love some cheap stuff. Hero Forge for everything. That's my reference material. Love it to death.
Anything free.
I don't even know how we got on this tangent. I really don't. I had somewhere I was going, and this was not it.
It's like Dion Rising. Is that a thing? Is that what we're talking about?
I mean, it is, and it's also something that we edit on the low. So
yeah, it's also free editing software for that. DaVinci Resolve, sponsor us.
Right. I actually don't use that for Mod Pod. I don't do a whole lot of editing for Mod Pod, though. I have like this really crappy editor that I got like 10 years ago.
Oh. Well, do download DaVinci Resolve. It's actually like it's really good. It has there's like no watermarks or anything like that, and you can use a lot of like free transitions and stuff like that. I've been using it pretty much for all of our videos for editing.
Yeah, mine, I got way back in the day, back before I even knew how awful it was. I got like Vegas Movie Studio 13 Platinum, thinking I was like a hotshot, editor or some shit. That was a choice, let me tell you.
Well, even Kara has CapCut, the Pro version. Yeah. So that's a really good editor as well, and she has the Pro version, so you can do some cool stuff. That's the one I use, and that's the one that a lot of people use for like making like shorts and TikToks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do that. I want to do TikToks so bad, but then I sit down and start it, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know how to start this. I don't know what visuals I'm supposed to put up. Am I supposed to do like a trendy TikTok dance? I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's it's surprisingly time consuming for something that's like 30 seconds long.
It's pretty ridiculous. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think that's my New Year's resolution for the channel, at least, is I want to learn TikTok. Because I've been trying to do Instagram a little bit, but I feel like TikTok would be a lot of fun once I figured out how to do it.
I feel like we're I know we talked about this before, but I feel like we're switching of what do we want for 2024 goals, and then we'll talk about Dion Rising after.
I know. Before we started, I'm like, okay, here's my plan. We're gonna talk about Dion, then we're gonna talk about plans, and that's if D&D teaches you one thing, it's to just improv and go with it, not to try to plan anything. So I guess it's fitting. Yeah. I'm just kind of like gonna go through all of my notes upside down, I guess.
Fair enough. I feel like it's a good thing to kind of to talk about because for those that don't know, it was kind of me and you that essentially you more so than me, but I kind of tagged along pretty early on in developing the soon to be named after we got this all going, Knights
Yeah.
of D20.
Yeah, so for anyone out there who's wanting to do something similar to this, we're always looking for friends in the streaming D&D community. Reach out to me. I would love to talk you through it, how we did it. Obviously we're not Critical Role, so it's not like, we did so much, but I mean, we're getting there, we're getting things rolling, and we would love to have more friends in the community that we could maybe in the future collaborate with.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like we're very open about how we did it. Because I know I put up like a post on Reddit where I was like looking for a group. I knew, because I'm a professional DM, I DM so much. I love it. I don't want to say I'm sick of it, but there comes a time when you want to play a character.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
And I know like my strengths aren't necessarily world building. I do great characters. I do NPCs really good. So I knew that like as in the stream format, I knew my strength was going to be in a character versus a world. And we both, I think, were reached out to by the same person, and we got into it. And as we were in it, the organization was like absolute zero.
Yeah.
And I think it got to a point where, like, I left, and then I just messaged Dane, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to see if I can't get something going. If you want to come with me, that would be really great.
I was like, I also want to get something going, so let's do this.
Because the one we were in, he's like, yeah, I think we're going to plan for, like, a year or something. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here for a year. Because I'm one of those people that, I psych myself out, I get a lot of anxiety, and then I just don't do it. So I was like, I have to get people that are like going to kind of force me into it.
Right. And, as you and I both know all too well, it was more so not an issue getting the players, right? The players are not the issue. It's the DM.
Yes.
It's also people that wanted to be like on camera and were comfortable with that as well, right? Because there's a lot of channels out there, and the one I run and stream for mostly fun, we use Hero Forge characters like interactive or reactive images on Discord. So some people will know what I'm talking about. Because people aren't comfortable with showing their face and stuff like that. So it was great to find everyone that's comfortable with that, and it's been going fantastic so far. Having a good old time.
Yeah, I've been having so much fun with it. I will say for anyone who is wanting to start something like this, patience. Have patience. Like, obviously, don't sit there for a year, but understand that forming the group takes time. We spent probably 3 months just doing one-shots with DMs. Like, at least. We did at least 30 one-shots.
Yeah.
And it was...
Well, 30? I don't think it was that many. It was at least like 10,
I definitely think it was. Because we did like... Oh, maybe not. It was at least 20, though. Because we interviewed at least 8 or 9 DMs, and we did 2 one-shots with almost all of them.
That's true. Yeah. And then it
was a lot.
And sussing out players and all that kind of
Once
stuff.
we got Kara, we had to fill our last 2 spots.
Yeah.
So we did like 4 or 5 with Kara.
Right, yeah. And we did...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, maybe it's because I wasn't there for like a couple of them. But aside from that, yeah, I do think we did a couple of trial runs with certain people to change up their characters to get an idea of what they wanted to be. So, yeah, I guess we kind of... Definitely north of 10, for sure.
Oh, yes. There were so many. And I feel like it was really great because I feel like every member of our group, it was like this just like moment of like, they're the ones. We kept having ones where I'm like, Dane, I'm not sure. I don't know. But then like with Robin, I literally I feel like we had talked for like 10 minutes and I had messaged you and I'm like, hey, she's in. She's the one. I love her to death. Her energy is so good. And I feel like just everyone kind of was like in just one shot. I was like, hey, I really think this is a good person.
Yeah, you got the good vibes from them after that their first one. Usually for their initial one, we had a good feeling, and then like having them run another one was just like cementing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like with Kara, we did our one shot. That was one that we had so many lined up to do because we were doing them all on Mondays that I was like, hey Dane, I'm just gonna take like a couple people. We're gonna do one on like Thursday or something. and we'll just take like 3 or 4 of us. And so we did that, and I messaged you, and I'm just like, hey, listen, I think she's the one. And then
like, I trust you.
Yeah, and I was like, it was a little bubblegum poppy. So I told her to come Monday with a super dark, gritty one, and then she did, and it was crazy.
And that's how we knew.
And now here we are with like human teeth and big meaty tails.
She did not disappoint.
She didn't. No, Kara's so great. But yeah, reach out to us if you wanna, talk a little bit about, how we got things going, because I am more than willing to give some pointers and make some friends out there, because we want friends.
100%. So in 2025, Bobby, what do you want for the channel?
I would love to have like 5 million followers. Realistically, I think next year I would really like to maybe hit like 250, 300, somewhere in there. I think that would be a good place. I would love to. I don't know. I feel like we have so much fun with it that it's like, it already is a lot of what I want. I just want the community to grow, because I'm a very community-oriented person. I want to be able to throw a meme out and have a bunch of people like it and think it's funny, and then they throw me memes back. And, I want... over on our Discord, we have, like, our pets of D20, and I would love to just have that flooding with cute animal pictures every single day.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So yours is community. You want the community to grow and flourish.
I want more community, and I want to get better at social media. I think that is, like, my personal part of the community, of the channel, is I want to get better, because... right now I'm trying my best with Instagram, but again, TikTok is terrifying to me.
Yeah, it definitely is, because it does have its learning curve. Like, its way of, I've looked in, because I've been doing Twitch for a long time, so I come across videos of like how to grow channels and all that kind of stuff every here and there, and a lot of it is like, I like to call it's like the funnel system, right, where your small videos, your Twitches, your tweets, your this and that is kind of like the big funnel, and then you get them into like your YouTube, and then you get them into your Twitch, which is your live, at a certain time. This is when it's coming out. So, I do think we got those bottom 2 layers there of like Twitch at a consistent, consistency with Twitch, and then the YouTube stuff, where we have a lot of content on our YouTube. We got like over 50 videos already on there.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. We've got all of our live streams we take and we put there. We've got the Int Mod Pod. We've got Casting Friendship over there. All the tea times show up there. Most of the tea times, I should say, because I have been forgetting to download them and put them up because tech is not my thing. And we've got the book club.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
We have so much going on, and I have to say, book club I think is my favorite of the offshoot things that we do. I didn't expect it to be, but like I've started reading so much more because of it.
Yeah, I definitely I like that for sure. Like, just something that takes you out of your normal, because you weren't a big fantasy smut reader.
No,
neither was I, like, at all, really. And we've read a couple of books. I feel like we've got a nice spectrum of what's really bad and what's really good.
I think my favorite thing about it is that the one who has never read a smut book, picked the first one, and it was just the worst thing we've ever read.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was quite a treat reading that one.
It was something for sure.
Yeah, so I think another thing, aside from community, are there any other like little projects that you've been thinking of that would be a cool thing? Maybe not like, and it doesn't have to be anything like super long term, right? Like it could be something that maybe you just plan for like 4 to 6 videos of, or something like that. Have you thought of anything like that?
I have, yeah. So I've talked with everyone a little bit about doing like dark arts and crafts, and just kind of like as we craft, maybe record it, even if we're not good at it. because I think it would be cool to have like recorded progress of our progress getting better, our proficiency leveling up with us.
Yeah.
Um
Oh yeah.
and I had also talked a little bit once I get moved about setting some cameras up in my kitchen because I have the official Dungeons and Dragons cookbook. And I was gonna like Julie and
Oh,
Julia style cook my way through the Dungeons and Dragons cookbook.
that's awesome. I love that. That's a great idea.
Because I'm a domesticated housewife. Obviously, I like to have dinner on the table when my husband gets home. So like for me, I just think it would be so fun to make these outlandish recipes that are in
I
it.
think I think that would be amazing. That would be so cool. I'm not gonna lie. That
Yeah.
would be awesome.
So I think those are my two like biggest ones that I kind of have my focus on is dark arts and crafts and whatever I end up naming the cooking thing. I don't really know what it's going to be called yet, but again, I got to get moved first.
Yeah,
So,
one thing at a time, right?
yeah. How about
Yeah, and
yourself? What are you looking to get or like grow with the
um,
channel?
yeah. So for me, it's probably little like well, one, it's trying my best to get everyone up to speed on being comfortable with tech side of stuff.
Hmm.
That way, it's not always me. See, my problem is that like I kind of took over the role the I took over Royal's um, job of video of editing the YouTube videos
Okay.
for thing just because like I can do it very quickly like 4 hour long live stream stuff I can do that very quickly. It's like 5-10 minutes for me,
Hmm.
not a big deal. And then because then it was just a lot of back and forth where I could just do it and finish it all at once. But for stuff like tea time and stuff like that, so everyone's comfortable. A lot of like it's just small optimizations for me
Hmm.
at the end of the day. Like I think it would be cool if we updated our overlays now that like Act One is finished. Maybe find a way to either just change the color scheme, leave the general pictures and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but color scheme differences, stuff like that. I do think like the social media stuff, kind of like you said, is really something that we all need to band together on a little bit. And whether it is, using like Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever the case may be, and like just being able to divvy up those kind of little things,
Hmm.
right? That's kind of my idea. In terms of like little projects and stuff like that, I don't really have anything I can think of because that's the cooking idea is really cool though. I like
Thank
that one.
you. See, I feel like when we came into this, like I told everyone when we were first like getting finished with the interviews, I'm like, listen, guys, I am the idea person. I am not the execution person. I said I can give you great ideas, but I don't know how to make them happen. Because I remember, like,
Yeah.
even like with tea time, I was like, hey guys, I have this idea. I don't know how it's gonna work, but here's the idea. And then, like, this was even before we told Melanie that she was on the show. And I was like,
Yeah.
here's the thing, Melanie's gonna run it, trust me. And it like all came because we were sitting there talking after one of the one shots and she picks like this she has a whole teapot just sitting on her desk and like without breaking eye contact through the camera she picks it up and pours it into her cup so perfectly and I'm like, oh my god, she's got some drama that she's about to tell. And I'm like, we need a show about that.
That's how Tea Time was born.
It was, and then I think casting friendship was a great idea from Kara and Melanie. I think they're doing a great job over there. Um,
Hmm.
I would love to see Int Mod Pod grow a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're being very consistent with it. Got your what's the next video? Who's we did Fighter just released.
Yeah, we did Paladin then Fighter, so my next three are all Royal. I think we're gonna record all three of them tomorrow. I don't know
Ooh,
yet. I'm
that'll
gonna
be
at least
fun.
try to do two. So the next one I believe is Cleric, because it'll be our Christmas Eve episode. And
Yep.
then I think after that is going to. It's not Ranger. What's the other one? Monk. No, it is Ranger.
Yeah, the half caster, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited to just sit down and get in a fist fight with Royal over Rangers.
and then eventually you'll come around to his way of thinking about it.
Possibly. I don't see.
Or
Honestly, I almost I feel like I almost just antagonize him because I think it's funny. It's not even that I like disagree with him.
yeah, it's just funny to egg him on,
It
basically.
is. It is. It's funny.
It is quite funny when he gets into his rants.
Yeah. That's one thing about Royal that I think it's so funny is and I mean this in such a loving way, but he's so easy to like provoke into things. Like anytime
Yeah.
we're on the stream and he's like fighting the giant squidopus, and I'm like, go punch it in the eye, and then he does it, and I'm like, oh my god, I was just joking.
He's very easy to egg on. Like, go do that. He's like,
Yeah,
okay,
he
I'll go do
really
that.
is.
Now I don't know if that's him or if that's Zada, but I like to imagine, much like all of our characters, we all blend together at some point.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I think it's just him. I think that's him bleeding into Zada. Honestly, I think he likes to try to cover it up, but the way he gets about Rangers is why I think that, because it's so easy to instigate him into a debate.
Can't wait to watch that one. That'll be a good Int Mod pod.
I feel like all of the Mod pods are like an hour 20 minutes. That's gonna be like a 3-hour episode.
In multiple parts, part 1 and 2 and 3.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, so like when we started, did you think we were gonna get to this point?
Um,
Like
I was
honestly.
I was optimistic
Mhm.
after the group was finalized. I think that was kind of like when I was like, okay, I think we got a good shot at this, right? We went through some hiccups in terms of tech stuff and all that kind of
Yeah.
jazz, but I think we're at this point, we how long have we been together now? Like 6-ish plus months, like right? Like around
Um
that long.
yeah, it's hold on, I'm trying to like scroll to the first message I sent you. Okay, the first message I sent you in this specific like grouping was April 27th.
Yeah, so yeah, over 6 months, 8
Yeah.
months now. We're almost round a year at this point. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And 20 sessions down, pretty much week to week, right?
Mhm.
So that's 5 months right there.
Yeah.
Quick math.
Absolutely crushing it.
Yeah. So, and that first message you sent me, was that, like you said, the group had been officially
No,
created,
no, no, no.
or?
That was when me and you decided to join forces to create our own thing.
Right. So
So
then I
that's
think
how
it took
long me
like,
and you had been working on this.
right.
I don't know how long that would take me. I wouldn't know where to start looking, honestly.
No, that's okay. But I feel like after the group was finalized, it didn't take long for us to get up and running. And I think it was in like was it September, I feel, or
Something
like
like that.
that's when the campaign started.
Yeah, because I remember we started by recording, and then we just
Yeah,
released those recordings, and so we did 4 of those, and then we started the live streams.
correct. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know this. I was a hot mess that first night. I was shaking so bad.
Yeah.
I was so nervous because, again, I am a severe introvert. I don't normally do things like this.
Yeah.
But I was literally dying inside. And then I had this stupid accent that I had to try to do. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to say something really stupid. And then I said something really stupid, and everyone loved it. And they were like, protect Mara away. And I'm like, okay, this is okay.
Yeah,
Is fine.
this is Maraway. This is him now.
I feel
him.
I feel like had I not got the reception I got with Maraway, I would have been a lot more stressed. But I feel like, even just the first 4 episodes that we released, people loved him, and I was like, thank God.
It is very strange to go from playing for fun to playing for entertainment reasons, right? Where we have to kind of be expressive and things like that. Like I feel like I've gotten more expressive on camera. Like I try to add in hand movements and things like that, and all of that nature, just to make it a little bit more interactive, like you would see around like a live table, right?
Yeah. One day I would love to get this group live. I think that would be so much fun.
One of those D&Ds in a castle
Oh my, those are
things.
so expensive. My goodness.
That's when we got that Ginny D money, and then we can go do that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think stuff like that would be really cool. I just really want to do like a big trip. Just like, even if we all just like kind of met up for like a Ren Fest or something, I think it would just be really fun to just get everyone together. Because I think as of right now, Royal and Melanie are the only two of us who have actually met in person.
Yeah. Well, you guys are, you don't have to fly international.
That's true. And like me and Robin over the break are going to miss each other by like a solid 20 hours.
Right. Yeah, just barely missing each other. But yeah, no, I definitely think that would be something that would be super cool, whether it's playing in person or just even getting together in person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah. We can all like dress as our characters, and then we can see how Royal does it, because I want to see how he's going to do it.
It's gonna be like a spray, like a paint spray of like a discount Halloween lion mane. It's like the Cowardly Lion costume just gets like spray painted black.
Adore it. I'm here for it. I like that idea. I think that'd be that'd be really cute.
I feel, you know what? I feel bad for Robin the most, because I've been telling everyone we have to do like headshots and stuff like that, and now that some of us are like putting on makeup and stuff like that, she did a whole Halloween outfit as Bula and
fully green
and no headshots.
None.
I was like, oh well, she's just gonna have to dip her head in some green paint again and
yeah, it's like
get some headshots.
Like, if we did a full cosplay, I feel like you would have it probably the easiest. You and Melanie would have it the easiest.
Yeah,
I feel like I would be the next, like, right under y'all, because the only difficult part about mine is the heels that I wear to give me the hoof look, which are really uncomfortable, let me tell you. I was literally crying after 2 hours of walking. Followed by Robin and Eidos, because they're both, gonna have to paint. And then Zana.
I feel like JP would it would be like blue to like from like his head to like here, right? Like, so because he'll wear like a turtleneck basically, and then maybe his hands, and that's it. But poor Robin is showing off the radiant cleavage. And like sleeveless arms that have to get painted, just everything. So she's got it well, and then whatever Royal comes up with.
Yeah, mine will go up in difficulty just a little bit once I like decide to do like sleeveless and start doing all of Moraway's arm paintings. Mm-hmm. But that'll have to be a big occasion, because that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. Let's wait till we get our own makeup team on board, and then do it.
If you're a makeup artist and you want to work for free uses of a already free Pixlr, let us know.
I'll edit 3 photos in Pixlr for you.
Yes, or the same photo, and we'll just save it 3 times. Your choice.
There you go.
We're pretty good like that.
PNGs or JPEGs, whatever you want.
Yeah, we will. Also, if you're an editor out there and you want to work for literally nothing, let us know. Because that's what we got. We got nothing.
And you could just do TikToks. That's all.
Yes,
we'll do the
please.
rest.
If you know how to do TikToks, let us know how, because we're clueless. I'm too old for that. I don't know how it works.
It's a young man's game.
It really
TikTok.
Is. It really is.
I don't got the energy for dances.
I mean, I do, but just not that kind of dance. If I could get on there and do ballroom dances, me and JP could tear it up.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, no, these hip dances, I don't know. I couldn't do it.
That's all right. I don't even like music nowadays. These kids today listening to all this hip hop music.
Me over here jamming out to like Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan all day. My
I'm a top
playlist,
40 kind of person.
look, my playlist is literally like Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, or classical wailing violin. There is no in between.
That is quite the leap from one to
Listen,
the other.
if you could rock a tango to it, I'm probably listening to it.
Okay, all right.
Like that is that speaks to my heart. Tango music does everything for me.
Yeah, so with that,
Yeah.
what else we got to talk about today?
I guess we could talk about the actual campaign now that we've talked a little bit about how we started the campaign and how we attempt to run it.
I guess we can talk about that thing that we all come here to do every Monday.
I mean, to be fair, though, when me and Melanie sat down together, we only talked about skincare for like an hour. And then I just got the package a couple days ago, but I'm going to need her to like FaceTime me or something and tell me what all of it is. Because it's like face acid. And I'm like, honey.
Yeah.
That's scary. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'm like the guy that is like, I just need the bar of soap and I'm okay.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just like normally I'm just like wash the face and put a moisturizer on before bed. And then we got talking about it and she's like, I'm going to send you all this stuff. And
chemical peels, exfoliants.
I think one of them is a chemical peel. I don't know what any of it does. But I'm excited to find out.
They got all these acids in them, whatever those do.
Yeah. And like she had told me that she does like the thing where it's like a needle that like pokes you.
Oh my god.
Apparently it's supposed to like damage you just enough that it starts the healing process, but not enough that it actually damages you. I don't know. It sounds crazy.
Just hurts enough so it feels good.
I'm so thankful she didn't send me one of those because I would have died.
Here's an acupuncture needle that you just stab your own face with.
Oh my god. No thanks. Anyhow, the campaign. So we've been we've done some political stuff. We've done a lot, and now we're messing around in the hills, or we're not anymore.
Yeah.
As the resident paladin, how do you feel about wandering the hills and making crazy deals?
I, as Killian, was quite hesitant to get into a deal. Of course, it was also, it's like one of those kind of situations where like Solvac kind of saved us from the situation. Everyone else is, fine with it. Killian's got a lot of, let's say, history with devils. Got to make sure we correctly differentiate between the two.
Yes.
Demons and devils. He's got some beef with. It's not something that Killian, like he's at a point where so many things have happened to him recently that it has left him a little bit confused, a little bit without answers.
Yeah.
And it's not as though, as like the way I'm running my paladin, it's not as though he's directly like speaking to Oasis or anything like that. He's more so following his oath of the Protectorate, which just kind of, Oasis is their deity that they worship, but it's not as though he's sitting down and like having that cleric one-to-one talk with their divine being, right? So, he's also got to have a little bit of he's got to have some expectations for the situation that he's in. Like, Solvac is offering answers about where his brother and his dad are, and they're currently trapped in the abyss. And it's like, where would you even start as like lone paladin out in the world, clearly being targeted by his own organization? Like, where do you even go?
I hate to say it, but your people are kind of shitty.
Some of them.
Like, I was a
Some
little
of them.
taken aback by that when we met up with them. They were kind
Yeah.
of douchebags.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? Like Killian, like fully understands how they work, right? Obviously, it seems off-putting to others. But at the same vein, we could say the same about Zada. I know Marway and Zada have that, you know, trepidatious little relationship there,
Yeah.
given their opposing views on things.
Yes.
But for Killian, that's kind of the standard. It does have that military-esque kind of ranking system to it. So, he was very forthcoming about, what he needed to tell, that higher ranking Inquisitor that came in. And to get attacked kind of unexpectedly by them, um, just kind of confirmed everything that he had learned in like Tuzankin and
Uh-huh.
by his sister. It's been a pretty hectic couple of weeks for Killian, let me tell you.
It really has. Listen, I think it's funny when you really contrast the journey that each of our characters are taking. Maraway, I feel like his biggest issue, it was 3 years ago. So he, at this point, I feel like he's more on the up and up. He's kind of having the time of his life with these new friends. And then Killian is literally just kind of being drugged through the mud for the past, 6 months of game of us playing.
Yeah, like for a little timeline of Killian, where things have happened and how quickly it happens. It's kind of like just that classic shit happens to humans a lot because their lifespan is so small that
Yeah.
shit has to happen quick. So he finished his pilgrimage back in Cordia, learned about this conspiracy theory against his family through a note. Like he was just like living life, happy go lucky. Well, maybe not so much happy go lucky because he was fighting monsters and stuff, but he learned that there's a secret plot against his family. Then he gets assigned a mission in Lena Mirna to find the hag. I don't know how long it took him to sail over there. I assume probably a couple of weeks. And him just stewing on the fact that there's a plot against his family, potentially by his own organization. Not confirmed, just what he read in this letter from his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now he goes over to Lena Mirna, start all these cults and stuff like that have infiltrated the hierarchy of Lena Mirna and Tuzankin, especially the Union, all this kind of stuff.
All
And
of
then he
it.
sees his sister for the first time in years, and she talks to him and she gives him letters from his deceased mother,
Mm-hmm.
who essentially um, broaches the subject more of this plot against his family and them dealing with these demons that are trying to open an abyssal gate back home.
Mm-hmm.
Great fun. And so he learns that. So conspiracy kind of confirmed. Now we go to, hold on, what else happened? I wrote all these things down. Um, let's see. Yeah, so then we sail down, and then we almost get assassinated
Yeah, we do.
by the organization that he's been, faithfully devoted to for his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then he learns through, I believe it was through Solvok. Like we got a lot of lore from Solvok, really. Um, that his father and brother were captured in the abyss. We almost died again against demons, so he's just
Mm-hmm.
like feeling like a failure because we couldn't kill those demons that attacked us. There's the gates opening back home, the abyssal gate. There's a war brewing. There's just a lot of demons on the horizon, and just to top it off, we go into a contract with the devil.
Yeah. So before we talk about devils, I want to ask, was there ever a point on this mission to hunt the hag that you thought that Maraway was the hag?
No. It
No.
did not cross Killian's mind at all.
What about you,
Um,
Dane?
oh me. Did I think you would be? No, I don't. I don't believe so. Maybe it's just because it's just meta knowledge that
Mm-hmm.
I knew. It's like he's a party member. If you
Yeah.
secretly turn into a hag at some point, then
Surprise.
consider me shook. And good job, Kara, for pulling that off. But
Yeah.
no, I didn't think. I don't believe Killian would have seen many satyrs
Mm-hmm.
in his journeys, but keep in mind when he was young, he did. There's an extensive library at his home with
Mm-hmm.
the Protectorate, so he learned a lot about different kinds of creatures, things like that. So he would have a knowledge of like what a satyr is. And
Mm-hmm.
he knows it's from the Fae and things of that nature, and he knows there's evil things from the Fae, but he also knows there's good creatures from the Fae. So just seeing how you've interacted, Killian's always a little bit suspicious about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you won him over with your with Marway's just kind of thoughtfulness and regard for life. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think a hag would care at all about Darkdown. You know what I mean? Like you were just like, oh, maybe they're a good person. They're worth saving and things like that, and that helped Killian change his opinion about not all monsters just need to be killed outright.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a path for forgiveness for things of that nature to change them back or rectify a curse or whatever the case may be, I think that conversation that you had just opened them up to more of that possibility. So I think at that time when me and Ados, I believe, when we had that like private walk, that kind of cemented it as like, no, he's a good being. He's
It's a good
good.
noodle.
I don't have to worry about him too much.
Mm-hmm. So after it was revealed to the group that you were hunting a hag, that was about the time that me and Melanie did one of our talks together. And after me and Melanie do anything together, we literally sit there for like an hour in the call afterwards, just shit talking, right? And like spinning all of our conspiracies together. And I was like, Melanie, I think I'm the hag. And she's like, that's so stupid. What do you mean? And I'm like, in me and Bula's backstory, they shunned me because they thought I was a hag. I'm like, what if these stupid people have hired Killian to kill me? It was one of those things where it was like, wouldn't that be crazy? And then when it actually happened, I was kind of shooketh. I was like, oh my god, I am the bad guy.
Kara was listening into your conversation in the
She
background the
must
whole
have
time.
been. But like, yeah, me and Melanie, we spill tea just between each other so much. We've talked so much like shit about each other's characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like we get together and we just talk forever about what we think is happening, and then the opposite happens, and then we're just like, oh well. I
Oh
think so
well,
far that's
that was
the
a good.
only prediction we've had correct, or I had correct. Normally
That
we're
someone thought you were a hag, but
yeah.
but once again, given how it came up, I could like understandably see why the
Mm-hmm.
Protectorate would have thought you would be at least linked to the hag or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, work for the hag. And then, I tried to, be like, no, he's been with me for weeks.
Um.
um, but yeah, needless to say, like I said, Killian's been through the ringer, and it feels like he just feels like just like overcome with like just over encumbered with life currently because this has only been like a month
Yeah,
of all these things.
we have trauma bonded very quickly with each other.
Hmm.
So another question I have about our whole, devil situation. Do you think we could have walked away from Sovak?
Hmm. That is a great question. That is a great,
I
great
know that's why I
question.
asked it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, because I feel like if that was the case, we would have been quite screwed. Like, I don't think Solvak would have attacked us doesn't seem like that's his bag. That's not what he likes
Mm-hmm.
to do. He wants to make a deal. He wants to be exploitative. He's the lord of the packs,
Yeah.
essentially. But would that have meant he let us leave alive
Yeah.
by
Like,
sending other people at us? I honestly could not tell you.
because
I do.
I feel like at that point we know the devil's plan, and devils aren't known for leaving loose ends.
Yeah. And, well, let me ask you then
Yeah.
about do you feel like the contract that was presented to us is like I kind of read it as it is kind of fair, but the biggest caveat for Killian is that it's for like the length of time that the battle is going on. Like, so
Yeah.
is it until Orin and this other devil or demon are dealt with, Fraxorus are dealt with?
Yeah. So,
So,
the time frame is actually a big reason why I, as a player, wanted to add the caveat about the innocence.
mhm,
Because, and here's why. Um, if it comes down to the fact where we are trapped in this contract and we have to get out, we quite literally would only need to order the devils to harm one innocent that Maraway deems innocent, and then all of us are out of the contract immediately.
mhm,
So for me, that was like a two-pronged thing. That one, it can get us out of the contract very easily, and two, if he breaks those rules and orders them to attack innocents, he is now out and we keep the chains.
yeah. But let
So
me tell you, I want to keep those chains.
I know. How do you feel about the chains now that you know that they are not of the Satan?
I, you know what? That it was quite an interesting little turn there because
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting it to be some kind of divine type. Like I was literally picturing like thorn spiky whip just pah,
Mm-hmm.
just attacking. But to find out that it is actually a relic of one of the deities
Mm-hmm.
of course like chaos and freedom and stuff like that, which is quite quite the pointed statement. Like it's really makes sense for it. And I also like the fact that it doesn't actually have power over people. It's just a perceived
Yeah.
power, which I thought was quite interesting. Um, but I think like I really am going to I think enjoy using it. I've talked to Kara about it a little bit as well. We've already made some tweaks to it in terms of how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I'm interested to see if it plays other roles. Like I know we were talking in the chat. It's like, is this the other relic?
Is
Is this
is
it?
this one of the because we currently have one more of the unwelcome one relics that we know nothing about.
Correct. Yeah. But is that why we're going to the Anthenium, right? Or to find out a
Yes.
lot of stuff.
Yeah,
A
we're
lot of
gonna
stuff.
learn a lot. But also I think I don't know. Like, obviously, it's Kara's design, right? But I think that kind of makes it destiny for your character that we are now aligning ourselves who is trying to start a war in the abyss, and that is where your family is currently trapped. So it
Yeah.
almost feels like, this destiny that the thing that, like, this is another topic I want to talk about. The thing that your family has a bad reputation for, which is aligning with evil to do good, is kind of what you're having to do now to get them back.
Yeah, it's that self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah.
basically. And I do like that. I think that is like a pretty cool motive. Like it
Mm-hmm.
might come to the point where Killian's just like, screw it. Like, yeah, all right, I'll be the one that takes on that kind of burden of the family because I know like as soon as dear old dad, it's like, what are you doing here? It's like, well, I made a deal with the devil. He's like, what? You did what?
What?
It's like, just go off on me. But, like I said, at this point, Killian just feels like he's out of options.
Mm-hmm.
There's, he's out of options and he can't even rely on the organization that he's been faithful to for his whole years that has networks of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
like networks of resources, all of that. And, I think the only thing that's really his saving grace is that he's in the middle continent right now. I feel like if we end up going back to Cordia, like the target is going to be painted quite heavily on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he'll probably have to travel a lot more incognito while he's there.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm and Killian's still learning about this divine eye and all the things that come along with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these new powers and
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Yeah, I think I am so curious as to this eye because we've had it described as not just a blessing but a curse also. Um, by the gods. So I'm curious because so far we've only really ever seen the benefits. So I'm wondering, where down the line we're gonna see where this might not be this as strong as we think it is, where it might turn into kind of a crux for you.
Yeah, and all Killian really even knows about it is that, well, one, it just kind of appeared one day, in an eye that was uh, basically scratched out when he was young, when he was like 6 or something like that, by the demons that attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lived without that eye for like a decade or so, until one night during his pilgrimage, the eye emerged, and since then, magic that was never his forte has now started to be pulled out of him, basically.
Yeah.
Deriving from this divine power. Now, whether that ends up being like this eye is a key to something, or it's like I rip this sucker out and put it in the wall or something like that, I don't know. Maybe it's the eye is the final object of Dia. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
That would be
Oh
wild.
shit.
If I had to yank this eye out.
What if like one of the unwelcome ones is just watching everything we do through your eye?
Oh, oh God.
Oh.
Oh no.
um
That's why they found us.
Panic. Yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. On the line though of deals, how do you think both yourself and or Killian feels about Seraphina making a deal to now literally having a devil's tongue in her mouth?
Um, like Killian was extremely apprehensive about making the deal initially to begin with. He's the last to sign after contemplating it for a long time, and he ain't trying to make any more deals. So seeing, people, let's just say, dive in to unknown depths for power, right? And
Mm-hmm.
typically devils aren't seen as benevolent. But even
Yeah.
though he's given us all this stuff, they're not typically seen as benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in the campaign, we also have no idea about Seraphina and her dealings prior
Mm-hmm.
to us all meeting. Um, does Killian think a little bit, you know, less of her? I don't think I don't think that's the case. I don't feel like it is, because I feel like he was just so distracted by just making a deal altogether with
Mm-hmm.
it. And at least now he's, not the only one that has to translate Infernal for everybody. But
Yeah.
she also does, she can speak it, just doesn't understand it, which I find is
So you're
hilarious.
still stuck translating for most of
Yeah,
this.
so I'm still stuck translating. But um yeah, like Killian was I would say like more distracted with just the repercussions of everything going on, to not care as much about that little thing. He just knew, like, as soon as Slovak like offered it to him, he was like, no, no, nope, I'm good. One deal's good. I don't need any more on my conscience. I'm already doing this that I'm extremely apprehensive about. But if it's going to lead me to find my family, if it's going to lead to result in peace at the end of the day, and not war with
Mm-hmm.
everyone in the world, then I think like we mentioned before, he is kind of having to live that self-fulfilling prophecy of making the deal with the devil literally to protect the world.
Mm-hmm.
And what self-respecting Dungeons and Dragons party ain't taking that deal with the devil? You know what I mean?
Listen, that's a good point. I was totally ready for Killian to convince us to walk away from the deal. Because I know, like, I'm stuck in a very awkward position on a lot of our big decisions with Morrowind because the metagaming versus, the roleplay. Morrowind is trusting. Morrowind doesn't believe there's a such thing as, pure evil or true evil. So for him, it's like, oh, just because he's a devil doesn't make him pure evil. There can still be good in things. And
Now, in that aspect of Marway's line of thinking, so does he not think those ones that took over Sanctuary are evil?
he thinks they are, but he doesn't think they are pure evil. He still believes
Okay.
that somewhere in there is a good person that can be redeemed.
Okay. All right. I wonder
Um,
when the time comes, will Marway go for redemption, or will he let Zada take someone's head off?
I've contemplated that a lot, honestly. I've thought about that moment of, right now, what would I do? Would it be a situation where, and I like that you say let Zada, because every time I think about this, it is Zada that I think about. He is the one who will do the things that we're not comfortable doing.
Yeah.
However, I don't think he would allow redemption unless they truly meant it and truly desired it. Because you look back at the treasure, that him dying, it was a mercy. He took advantage of people and hurt them, and because of that, he was not fit for the world. And I think right now the people who took Sanctuary, they are not fit to be alive in Marway's eyes. They do not deserve life because of how they tarnish it. They disregard life, and when you disregard it, you are not worthy of it yourself in his mind. Um, so I think it would have to be a them, wanting and truly desiring redemption, not, them fighting us beating them, and then them being like, oh shit, I'm about to die, I should start begging. Like, at that point, it's too late. You don't want redemption because you want to be redeemed. You want redemption because you don't want to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very different thing.
Yeah, you don't want to die with all these terrible things that you've done on your conscience. You want to be forgiven for them.
Because, like, with
Um,
Marway, his whole issue isn't even, I don't want to go back because I don't want to fight. Right now, it's I don't want to go back because I will never be strong enough to win the
mhm.
fight. The queen was an archfey and she fell. What possible hope could this child have of, standing up
Yeah.
to such might, such cunning, such intelligence? Um, and he knows that he is naive. He knows that he is easily manipulated. And, I think a big part of like my role play with Morrowind is that he does know his faults.
hmm
He's always actively trying to learn things, trying to figure out things. Whenever he's around Killian, he's trying to be strong like Killian. When he's around Bula, he's trying to be protective like she is. With Seraphina, I feel like he sees just the pure charisma, the pure what's the word? The presence that she has, and he tries
Yeah.
to emulate that when he's around her. And I think a lot of with Eidos, him being a prince, I think at some point he's gonna look to Eidos and, possibly see someone striving to be a leader and maybe start thinking about that aspect, of could I lead people there? Could I do this?
Yeah.
And so super cliche, but I do think, Morroway's power is friendship. It is the power of friendship. It is the strength that he draws from others. And that
Yeah.
was when designing him, that was a big key thing that I told y'all way before we even started. I was like, listen, my character is not going to be strong by himself.
hmm
I want all of his damage to come from these summons. I want it to be other people helping him because I don't want him to be this strong character. I really wanted to make a character that really does, lift other people and make them stronger, and that is what his strength is that he brings the best out in others.
Yeah, and I think for Killian, um, whenever we get back to the campaign, there I feel like there will be a little bit of a personality change in Killian, where he's gonna kind of take a turn to be a little bit more serious, because in the events that led up to them going into the Hells, essentially, he hiding his identity, like his last name at the very least,
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. And literally, the night, the night before, when we got attacked by the Inquisitors, Killian told you guys everything about his backstory. We go to the beach place, and we have a great time and drinking and all that kind of stuff. And then the very next day, we get attacked by literally an army of demons and devils.
Yeah.
Through Killian's mind, he's just feeling uh, like his name is like a curse. Like his family is absolutely cursed.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come out of the Hells basically like, I can't have fun anymore because we almost died. We had to get saved by quite literally the complete opposite of anything Killian would actually want to save him, which
Mm-hmm.
is a devil. And so, with that, and kind of moving forward, he's also going to feel quite ostracized from obviously his own upbringing, um, his own order that he's been a part of his whole life. And Oasis is the god of community and things of that nature. And now he's feeling like he is betrayed by his own community of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether this leads into an very very end game kind of thinking, Killian restructuring the whole thing because now he's a leader of the order or something like that. But I think in the interim, he's going to kind of re-find his belief in Oasis by being with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
being with you as you're his community. You guys are the ones that support him. He's well aware that he would have died without you guys there.
Mm-hmm.
He vividly remembers getting knocked out in the library by that large fireball,
Yeah.
right? And he was down and out. If he was by himself, he would have been dead. Um, so I think Killian's going to take a turn towards. He's going to have that time where he's going to feel a little bit more reserved, and maybe that's kind of good timing because it kind of is that wind down of that first arc, which was a lot of Killian threads.
Mm-hmm.
Now kind of pulls back a little bit, you know, refind himself, refind his belief in Oasis and in you guys as a community, and kind of like you were saying before, with how the Archfey was slain by the dragon and the queen and all that kind of stuff and all of
Mm-hmm.
her minions. He's basically feels like he's up against the same thing, like impossible odds for him to take on by himself. It's literally a whole worldwide organization, and the top of the ladder is trying to take him out. And the
Mm-hmm.
top of the ladder is also ingrained with the with the society, the civilization of Cordia. So it's just like hugest possible target is on his back, and he's going to come to rely on you guys as his support group. And
Mm-hmm.
like I mentioned before, like he still believes in the tenets of Oasis. He still believes in the importance of community, things of that nature. But he's going to be a little bit shooketh from everything that's transpired in the last literally 3 days,
Yeah.
4 days of this adventure.
Yeah, and because yeah, the church itself isn't what's bad. It's the corruption that has bled into it. So I
Yeah.
feel like at this point, I feel like a couple of our characters we've started to see what the end game is. Obviously for Morrowind, it's tied to Sanctuary. Are we going to go there? I don't know. Are we going to be hunted out of it? I don't know. But Sanctuary is, the end game, and we know that. We even, we know what's waiting for us there. And
Mm-hmm.
for Killian, we have this absolute mountain of a task of taking on people who aren't necessarily evil. And I
Yeah.
think it's going to be very difficult for us going forward with your arcs because they are just misguided. They're following orders. They're doing what the people who they believe are, the holiest of holy are telling them to do. And in their
Yeah.
minds, they're right.
Exactly, and like that is specifically why Killian was not trying to kill or maim any, even though they stabbed him. Like he's not trying to outright kill them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not what he wants to do. He understands the training and the upbringing that these people had gone through. So
Mm-hmm.
even when Zada broke the one dude's leg or whatever the hell he did, like Killian tries to set it properly and like try to heal it and try to get it back so he can walk again someday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
Yeah, I think,
eh,
and I think
yeah,
that's a great, like, when I often look at how Marway can bond with people, because I want him to be everyone's best friend. I want him to form these relationships, and I really want him to be able to become this like support system for others, and maybe someday they will become the support system for him that he doesn't need to wear the mask that he wears. Um, and I feel like both of our like empathy really kind of draws Killian and Marway together. I will say that Zada's absolute disregard for any empathetic skills at all, I think, is what is the biggest like division right now between both Marway and Zada, and I feel like Zada and most of the group.
yeah, I'd say so because even though probably like the closest person that would attack somebody for any reason is probably Bula, I would say, especially if it's in like regards to you.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, aside from food, what else would make Bula like mad enough to go off the handle, like
Mm-hmm.
to go into her rage is essentially like to make her mad enough to go into a rage. Obviously when we're all in combat, she's worried about you, wanting to
Mm-hmm.
protect you. She often gets hit first and that pisses her off. But like Zada will just kind of not like perfect is that treasurer guy, stab first and ask zero questions.
Yeah. I wish we would have got questions. I do agree that he needed to die, but like the people, they were just following orders. They didn't know any better. And Maraway was the first person to get shot. And
Yeah.
even still, he was like, I don't want these people dead. And even after they were killed, we built a pyre for them. We let them
Yeah.
die with dignity, with honor, um, and with respect because they themselves were not evil people and they didn't deserve death because they were misguided.
Yeah, and you know what? Uh, However it plays out later on with those particular two that survived, like Killian at the end of the day, he's happy with what he did. Sure, it
Mm-hmm.
can come back to bite him in the butt, but that is the essence of his character. He's trying to right the wrongs of, what people believe his family is. With this whole devil stuff, he's not too sure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to advertise that you're dealing with the devil until you have to.
Yeah.
So, it's not like we just got legions of devils following us. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
whenever they're ready to go, here we go.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know about Killian. I feel like he's probably the same, but I feel like our mentality definitely is that we would rather let 10 villains go than allow one innocent to die needlessly.
Yeah.
I would
If he
much
can
rather
help
those
it.
people come back for us than us having killed all of them.
Yeah. And, as we progress in level, like Killian's going to very much be a um like a punching bag a little bit for the group because he is self-sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna try and really work that, but it's almost like he's also gonna kind of almost work it into like a penance of some kind
Okay.
for like making a deal like this. It's kind of like that little, self beating that he's gonna do to himself to kind of, just any kind of penance that he can do on his own because it's not like he can go to the protectorate and ask for absolution or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that, or like he's on his own. So like what can he do to, solidify his convictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes pain is one of those things, the self-inflicted pain, or I would say in this case it's going to be taking on that pain for someone else
Mm-hmm.
is going to kind of be his method of absolution.
Yeah. And like I'm also so excited to see like within the game our community start to grow in terms of like family because I feel like right now where we're at, obviously Marwe and Bula are like, two peas in a pod. But I feel like, with recent conversations about, Marwe talking with Killian about their mothers and just recent events of him with warding Bond, he's protecting Marwe and Marwe, I feel like my play style has shifted a lot in terms of Killian. Because
Mm-hmm.
before I've made it very clear that if one of y'all go down and it's you or Bula, I'm saving Bula and you're SOL. Um, but I have found myself gearing towards protecting you far more than the rest of the group as well. Because I feel like Marwe values you and values your like morals. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a lot of why he did give you that chess piece because it means a lot to him to give one of those.
Yeah. And then I reciprocated by not knowing anything about your culture.
Not
Here you go.
knowing anything about the culture. It's okay. We're going to take it somewhere. We're going to reshape it into a different piece because he is already a piece on a board and he cannot be multiple.
All right, fair enough.
So we can definitely do that.
Yeah, and like, well, let me ask you. I guess in
Yeah.
whether it's metagaming, whether it's as Marway, what is something? I guess like, do you feel like there's anything left of Killian that's like unsaid that would, I don't know, change your opinion of him or anything like that?
I don't know. I feel like with Morrowind, like not me as a player, but Morrowind, I feel like even if you had darkness in you, again, no one is pure evil. No one is pure good. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what he chooses to see is the good in people. So I feel like even if there were revelations that you had done bad things, I don't think that would change his opinion of you because that was the past and right now you are working for good.
Yeah,
You are
and
working for redemption, you are working for your penance, and I think that to him outweighs bad deeds.
mhm. And I will also say that my character Killian has more or less given out like all of his lore has more or less been laid out on the table for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like going forward, like I don't know what's going to happen, right? Because everything has just been his past. He's not sure of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like my character and your character, and we're kind of picking up little bits of everyone else. But like we're starting to unravel people's stories. It was just that for Killian, he just happened to be the first one that his story needed to be told
Mm-hmm.
for it to make sense what the hell's going on with all these devils and
Yeah.
people attacking me and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't just let you guys be like, don't worry about it, guys. We're okay.
Yeah. And like a lot of mine has been told. I am sitting on a pretty sizable secret right now in regards to Morroway's backstory that I have been itching to tell, but it's not something that I'm just gonna say. It's something that's gonna have to come up,
Yeah.
because I'm fine taking it all the way up until my arc is going. Because
Yeah.
it changes a lot about the way I feel like people will view Morrowind. but it doesn't change him himself. I think a lot of the way he does things will make a bit more sense. And
Okay.
a lot of the stories that he's told, a lot of the bonds that he's making, I think it'll. Right now, I feel like he is a puzzle that is just missing a couple pieces. You can see what it is, but it's not complete yet.
Okay.
Um, but I'm just so excited.
And my story is like a currently loading, slowly loading image where it's like I got like the top half, and now it's just like the second half has stalled out until we resume with
Yeah.
the campaign.
And see, also, I feel like it's really cool. Like, my storyline is a lot different from everyone else's, in the sense that all of you are like building story. Like, we don't know exactly where your stories are going to like meet their point. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
with Maraway, his backstory is his future. It's like it is a full circle journey. So it's like for him, it almost feels like the story's written.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, because we know where he's going. We know what fate has in store for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of watching if he can rise to the occasion or not. Like Killian, we
So
know we got to save your family, but that's really all we know. We
yeah,
know
but
nothing about where Bula's story's going. We don't know anything about where Eidos and Seraphine are going. We have a little bit of knowledge of Zada, but it's like Maraway, I feel like, is the only one that we really know kind of exactly
yeah.
where he's
Do you,
headed.
like because it sounds as though you have an like you have a penultimate like end goal for Maraway at the that's kind of what it sounds like, right?
I mean,
Like you
his
have an
story
idea
does,
of
yes. And I feel
yeah.
like once the secret's out, it will make a lot more sense why it is
Hmm.
the way it
And
is.
yeah, so in contrast to like all of us, where you put it perfectly, we're all building our stories right now. And like I feel like Killian's is definitely going to come in stages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether it's just a matter of how Kara plays it, is it like a something that just gets kind of solved that's like an epilogue kind of situation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
years later, this happens. I think that'll be interesting because I guess Killian's first objective is you know, rather selflessly, he wants to make sure that this evil doesn't spread, war
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen, and then like finding his family is important to him, but it's also hazards of the job that he's been, that's just been ingrained in him his whole life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the reason that he was trained so hard is because this job is not easy and people die. His
Mm-hmm.
comes from a legacy of these kinds of individuals that are self-sacrificing and will die for the cause. So while he would love for his family to be safe, he also understands that this is what they signed up for,
Mm-hmm.
or, this is what his family was meant to do. So if they pass away, he hopes they're passing away in combat, in a fight against the evils of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to get more into Bula. I think Bula's the one I'm most excited about because we know nothing.
I think we're all very excited for
It's like at least
for
Eidos,
that.
we know, oh, he's the prince. There's crazy shit going on. With
Something happened back
Seraphina,
there.
we know she's like a failed sorceress. You know what I mean? Who's not very good at magic. With
Yeah.
Zada, we know he's out here trying to prove himself. But with Bula, even with our backstories being so intertwined, I feel like for Maraway, it's very much a situation of like, I don't really want to tell everything about my life because of
Hmm.
the shame that kind of goes with it. So I'm not going to talk to anyone until they're ready to talk.
Yeah.
So for
Hmm.
him, he takes people at face value. They are what they present. Um, so for him, he doesn't really even. It's not that he doesn't care about her backstory, but he doesn't like what her past was. Again, isn't who she is now. He cares about the
Yeah.
person that's in front of him, not who she was.
Yeah. And I feel like it for role play potential, it's a good thing that a lot of Killian's story has been told, because now he can talk about it with you guys a little more openly without
Mm-hmm.
like any secrets. He'll just be like, I don't know what the hell is going on, right? Like, my family this, my family that, and then
Mm-hmm.
it might open it up to, Bula talking about her family a little bit more, or Ados talking about his family a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more. So I hope that we're able to have the opportunity to have those role play moments, where we just converse as our players
Yeah.
and
I
are
love
able to learn a
those.
little bit more. Hmm.
Eidos knowing Sylvan though snatched my entire weave. Let me tell you, that revelation was crazy. I think that's how a lot of Marway's backstory will get told, is through
Through
Eidos
Sylvan,
overhearing things. Yeah.
are we gonna? And we won't be privy to it.
Nope. But I mean, also with Maraway, I told Kara from the beginning, like, I am going to keep secrets, but I will never lie. Like
Mhm.
that is something with Maraway I've made very clear that he does not lie. If you ask him something, he's gonna tell you. Like, I am an open book, and as things come up, I just throw them out there.
Mhm. Yeah, I love it. That's why I love.
I'm not
That's
trying
why
to
everyone
hide
loves Marway.
anything. In fact, I want to tell you my secrets. It just doesn't make sense for him to come out and say it. Bobby
This
as
is
a
my
player is
tragic
ready.
backstory. It's like, everyone sit down. Here's my tragic backstory. As soon as Killian says his, everyone trauma dump.
Story
Let's go.
time, everyone. So my last question for this tea time, and
All
this is
right.
going to be regarding everything that's happened in the hills. Do you think we made the right choice? And this is for
Do I
Dane,
think
not Killian.
yeah. Do I think we made the right choice in making the contract?
Yes. Just in general of how things went down, did we make the right choices? And if you could
I
change anything, what would it be?
if I could change anything, it would be to not make a contract. Uh, but given everything that's transpired,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, with Archangel telling his story,
Mm-hmm.
seeing how all those pieces, fit together
Yeah.
with, them, Solvok and him, because it was both of them, um, locking away Orin in that labyrinth
Yeah.
thing, because that was them. They did that, those two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it. I feel like Killian will feel like it's more of a right decision when he starts to see the potential destruction, devastation
Mm-hmm.
that Orin and Vraxoris will cause. So right now, as Dane, do I think we made a right decision? Yeah, because it's cool. It's a
Yeah.
devil
Very
contract.
cool.
Who doesn't want to do that, even as a paladin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a character, Killian's a little bit, well, not a little bit. He's super suspicious. Is very
Mm-hmm.
sus right now. But he's got nothing else. He's got, like, he's backs against the wall, and he never thought he'd ever encounter something like this in his life.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees everyone else kind of doing it, knowing that these are the people that he needs to rely on. So he wants to be there to make sure that they're safe, and and it looks like this deal he wants to protect the world. So
Yeah.
kind of the goals align at the very least. So yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Excellent. I also think we made the right decision, but I think I made the rightest decision by excluding myself hardcore from the contract.
Yeah, that was
I,
probably a
I was
good
like,
idea.
I'm like,
I
I
didn't know
am
how
not getting
many
involved in this shit.
I didn't know how many amendments we would get, but we also
Bring
didn't
them
try.
up.
So
Listen, the moment she brought contract up, I don't know if you've rewatched it, but I perked up so much. Immortal Ambitions, who is on everything that we do,
yeah,
she was talking to me. She was cracking up so much because she knows how much I love contracts, how much I love wheeling and dealing. So like the moment a contract showed up, I'm like, oh my god, this is my element, and I'm so excited.
yeah, you really finagled a good deal for yourself.
I did.
Put it that way. It's like the last, if I knew what these chains were, I would be like, I keep the chains. That's mine. I keep it now.
I mean, that's kind of in the contract if he breaches that we keep them. So
Ooh.
that's part of the amendment is that if he breaches the contract, he is excluded from it, and we keep all of, I don't remember the wording, but all the good shit that we get from it. So we get the whole army. He gets nothing.
All the boons.
All the assets. Yeah, all the boons. Which includes the chains. So he can't mess around. He is, right. And he is 100% upholden to my judgment.
There you go. See, that's why we need you around here.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, this has been the longest tea time I think we've done. We're at like an hour and a half, so I think it's time to wrap up. So this was a great time. I enjoyed it. This was our last tea time of the year.
Yeah.
I think we have one video left this year, and that's going to be book club.
Well, and then we'll post this one as well. This recorded.
Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I think I have an It Mod Pod coming out next week and the week after. So just kidding. I'm taking the last videos. Sorry about it.
That's fine.
So yeah, that's all I've really got. I really don't know how to close up tea time. I never do. I'm just like, alrighty, thanks guys.
Well, we can say Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everybody for those that celebrate. Once again, we come back January 6th?
Yes.
Question mark? January 6th for a little one-shot action. So definitely tune in for that. That's when we'll come back, and then we officially resume the campaign the following Monday, which I believe is the 13th.
Correct.
All right. And of course, all of our little projects, go like all of our stuff, go subscribe, go follow. Lots of great information in all of Bobby's Int Mod Pods. You'll learn a thing or two.
You might. Or you might just learn that we don't know what we're talking about.
Well, we're just reading the rules. So.
Yes, we're reading and interpreting. That's all D&D is interpreting rules. Yeah, so go do all of those things that Dane just told you to do. And I guess we'll see you at book club.
There you go. Bye, everybody.
Bye.